Hello there. It's a good morning. If you just join us here on the show, you're most welcome back on Prime Morning. It's midweek Wednesday, and Wednesday we have our Prime Inside. We have our big interview, which is also coming up as well. A bit later, Sidwa is also coming through with some entertainment as well, and Rosalind is standing by for the big interview. And today, it's going to be an exciting one. You don't want to miss out on that. You can go ahead and send your messages ahead of time. And WhatsApp line is very active. And on social media is Joy Prime TV on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Those are places you can join us here on the show. But let's get into Prime Inside this morning. And I'd like to say that Life is a Dream is a stage play, and it's happening on the 27th and the 28th of this month. Now, you don't want to miss out. It's a Spain production that has been adapted here in Ghana, and you want to be a part of it. Latif Abubakar is putting that together. So please make your way to the Accra International Conference Center and enjoy the very best of it. Life is a Dream. It's got one of the finest you can find in the world of theater, and so please make sure that you catch it up. Early bird ticket is going for 100 Ghana cedis and 150 Ghana cedis if you buy it a bit later or maybe at the gate. So please make sure you don't miss out on that. Food Lovers Special Fragrance Rice is something you need right now. Trust me, it's the best. It's a perfume, long grain, and the kids love it. All you need to do is to make sure that when you're in the market, you look for Food Lovers Special Fragrance Rice. You'll never, ever regret it, okay? Please do so and make sure the kids are happy with that as well, all right? So, folks, a bit later, I'll be telling you how you can be part of the conversation and other platforms. But those of you on Facebook, you can stream IG. You can also join us over there with your comments and all of that. Now, in the year 1760, the concept of influencers began. A porter named Josiah Westwood created a tea set for Queen Charlotte and publicized himself as the porter of Her Majesty. Now, this little and the royal family stamp of approval deemed his brand as a staple and is called the father of modern marketing. Now, social media influencers have evolved over the period and generations. Hundreds of years ago, the royal family was singing the praises of Josiah Wedgwood's poetry, and today he's a household name. Now, celebrities all over the world have always been involved in advertising things like laundry detergent and cigarettes and many others. And the brands even developed their own celebrities in the form of characters like Tony the Tiger and Flo from Progressive. Now, this morning, we want to take our attention to the issue of influencers and whether or not they're becoming agents of social change or social disaster. In the studio to help me, my guest here, I've got over here Ato Kelson. Now he's a PR consultant, copywriter, and founder of Fourth Avenue. Ato Kelson is a versatile and highly skilled in PR consultant, copywriter and writer, and also the founder of the creative boutique agency Fourth Avenue. He's actually had passion for crafting compelling narratives and enhancing brand communication strategies as well. With over 8 years of experience in the industry, he has established a reputation for actually delivering exceptional results and building strong relationship with clients as well. And this morning is here to share with us some of the things he's learned and known over the years, in 8 years. Ato, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Great.
Yeah, I'm good.
Nice one. Now, on the other side, we have our very own sweethearts all the way from South Africa in the studio with us over here. This, the lady they call Dynamite, and she comes in small packages, but trust me, she is really, really big in package. And she's a former Big Brother Titans housemate and aspiring media personality, Nelisa brought on all the chaos and more in the first ever season of Big Brother Titans. And she's here with us in the studio. She's got strong passion for media, and she's been also cast in a series of other things that she's done over the period as well. And today, she's coming all the way from the Eastern Cape and Johannesburg and settling here in the motherland, Ghana. It's good to see you, Nelisa.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. So you've been on an exciting journey, no two ways about that. And you visited the country, and I'm sure you've done so much over the period that you've landed here in Ghana.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you have done so far?
I tasted Ghanaian jollof, which was absolutely delicious. I went to the...
So it means you've given the accolades to us. Right. No, don't mind the other side. I'm just saying.
Maybe. I'm not sure yet.
It shouldn't be a maybe.
I'm not sure yet. I also visited the night beach yesterday. That was very interesting. I saw a couple of crabs, which was scary, but which was a bit scary. But all in all, I'm trying to take in the heat. I thought I brought fire, but Ghana something else. Right? Yes.
But you'll be fine. I mean, you're in good hands, all right? So enjoy. Just have fun, okay? Ato, Charlie, so I want us to get into the conversation, and we're trying as much as possible to be able to understand what it means for somebody to become an influencer and what exactly it's doing to society as at this moment. Now, we've had recent issues of some influencers not really living by what they're supposed to be living by in terms of the kind of job they're doing, in terms of how they're able to, as it were, let people understand that there's a particular path in ensuring that you're able to win and win well. I mean, we've seen the stories of Hush Puppy. We've seen the stories of our very own recent issue here in the country at the moment from Hajia for real and all of that. I want us to get into it. What's your definition of a social media influencer?
Okay, so with respect to influencers, they come in different packages. We have people who do stuff on social media. We have bloggers and we have vloggers as well. I think the three key characteristics of an influencer is being able to show credibility, expertise in a certain craft or a certain niche, and also being able to amass a huge following for yourself. So those are the three key things that sets an influencer apart. Okay.
Nelisa, let me find out from you. You've had a very successful run in one of the biggest reality shows on the continent. Before getting into the competition, was there a notion that you are already an influencer, or you are heading towards that point where after you're done, you'll be able to say that, okay, I've risen to a certain stage where I feel like I'm an influencer, and these are the things I want to do, what the description is?
I think I was more in micro-influencing.
Okay.
Yeah, so not a lot of followers, because I think I was just over 10,000K. So I was around there. So I think I fell underneath the category of micro-influencing. And I knew that after the house, I'd form into the bigger parts of the type of people where you're like, okay, that's an influencer because they've amassed such a high number of followers. And not only that, they have a selling point. For instance, you know that if you post something, people are going to go there and try either to buy it or research what you're talking about. So I think, I knew that now I was in the little leagues, and then after the house, I'd be in the big fishes, swimming with the big fishes. Yeah.
Was there the pressure of, if I am there, now there's the need for me to look into my values, my principles, and know what I stand for, what I get involved in? Did you have to think about all of that,
Definitely. Because I think anybody that goes onto social media, whether you're planning to be an influencer or not, you need to take everything on there with a salt of grain, because not everything is as it seems. So you need to know that if you're becoming an influencer, what are you pushing? What is your selling point? Because that's what brands buy into when they want you to promote their brand. They pushing the image that you already have and using that to capitalize and sell off their products through you. So I had to take a step back and be like, what is my selling point? What is my niche? What's going to set me apart with the many influences that there already are? So
Okay. So you've seen brands come and go. You've seen brands achieve a lot, and at the end of the day, everything just goes down the drain. You've seen people hide behind the mirage of I am an influencer and do certain things that at the end of the day, you probably sit back and say, okay, was that what it's all about? You understand? But have you been able to, differentiate between the two? Somebody being an influencer creditably, another person also being, or it's difficult for us to see because of the veil that seems to be covering that space.
Yeah, I think what creates the problem is a knowledge deficit, in the sense that most influencers aren't professionals in the true sense. So most haven't taken a single class in marketing or advertising or PR.
And those are necessary?
Those are very necessary, because you are getting into a field where it's governed by ethics. I mean, if you're in the media, if you're a journalist, there's the SPJ code of ethics. So even if you're an influencer, there are certain things you have to adhere to. There's ethical advertising and how to engage your consumers or your followers. One of the key roles of an influencer is to engage and connect. So if you are not able to engage your followers or your consumers with your posts, if you are not able to connect with them on a very personal level, it becomes a problem. So if you are not really aware of how to go around these things, that's when you are able to see the mirage, as you've put it, the people who know what they are about and the people who don't know what they are about.
There's high demand for, the interest of becoming an influencer. Maybe it's because of the way people see it from different perspectives. Now, do you think that the way we're going about it lately is taking us to a path where with regrets in terms of some of the things people do just to get following? Now it is believed that people can't just do genuine things to even get following in the first place. You need to come out with something quite outrageous, like something totally off. Is that scary?
Yeah, it's a bit scary because of the medium we use. We use social media, and social media is consumer generated. So you basically do what you want. So it's kind of like unregulated. And now we see most of these social media platforms trying to bring people on board and put regulations together. So for instance, when you go on Twitter now, there's a community notes that people are able to verify information and say, okay, this is false, this is true, and so on. So because it's consumer generated, it makes the regulation a bit very, very, very difficult. But I think on both sides, we are to take the blame, on both the brand side and the influencer side. Because when you are a brand, one thing you also have to put into focus is research. And when you want to embark on anything, you are supposed to do formative research, and that's what's going to inform what it is you are going to do. So you'll be able to identify an influencer who is in the niche that you are trying to cater to. And because research is very difficult and very laborious, most brands don't really do that. So they just engage whoever they think has the following. But you are supposed to go for someone who is able to appeal to the target audience that you are trying to move to. So I think we are both supposed to take the blame.
Nelisa, you are in the soup right now, literally. I mean, you are there, you're seeing it, and you're living it, and all of that. Before you make any decision to be part of any brand, do you take a look at what the brand stands for and what they're likely going to put you in as maybe the benefit that you're supposed to be getting? So they decided that they want you to do this, but you feel that, okay, this will affect me somehow. Are there considerations on that?
There definitely is. I think when choosing to partner with a brand, because it's a partnership at the end of the day. It's not just them, hi, here's the money, you do this and this and that. You need to look at your target market as well. Like, will my audience buy into what I'm selling right now? Because if they're not buying, the brand is not making money, and then in the end, it looks like you don't have the selling power. So it comes back, and then maybe they could be in an office one day and be like, no, we worked with her. She actually didn't give us any sales. So you have to be very considerate that not only do you fall in line with the brand's target market, but they fall in line with yours as well. Because it's a partner. If I'm not doing my job, it's going to affect me in the long run, even if it doesn't affect me now. I might get the money, but in the long run, they might have a product that could actually sell to my audience. But because we partnered then and it didn't work, now I'm at a disadvantage in the future. So yes, I have to take a look at everything.
It also comes with a certain sort of pressure. I mean, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting it. If I'm not doing it, then it means I'm losing out. How do you deal with that? Because most of your friends that, let's even put the reality show Titans, for example.
Yeah.
There are people that you went into the reality show with.
Yeah.
You all come out.
Yeah.
And they are giving themselves to certain brands to use them in certain ways.
Yeah.
Now there's a bit of pressure because maybe you want to stick to your values and so you're not getting that attention or that collaboration that you're supposed to be getting. How do you handle some of these things?
I mean, I keep telling myself that success is a journey. Like, if I sell myself short now, how am I going to make it to the top? Like, where's the ladder? So I need to be patient, first of all. The brands that I want to collaborate with, I need to cater to them. So for everything that I do, I cater to the brands in my head, acting as if I'm already in the position to work with these brands. So selling them already, hi, so by the time I pitch to them, hi, I would like to work with you, this is what I've done. So I'm not going to sell myself short by going to anybody who knocks at my door, because then I'm hindering myself with the image I'm trying to create to get the brands that I want to work with. So just telling myself that success is a journey. It's not gonna, if we're not on the same path, like, why are we, it's not a race. Like, the game is over. Like, I need to keep on reminding myself the game is over. It is not a race. This is the rest of my life. I have to live with it.
Yeah.
I have to live with these decisions. Yeah. Basically.
So let's look at the competitiveness of it and what it is turning most of the people into right now. Do you think that the pressure that has been mounted on these people to go the extra mile in doing some of the things that ordinarily they will not even do is a brand issue, which is coming from those who want to collaborate with them? Are they the ones that are making it difficult for these young ones out there who are getting into this influencing and all of that, making those decisions they are making today that mostly some of them will regret later?
Yeah, as I said earlier, it's both sides supposed to take the blame, because most of the brands don't really look at the influencer they are engaging with. So, for instance, if maybe I'm a sneaker brand, I would want to engage with an influencer who puts out content about sneakers or shoes. And with that in mind, I can be able to tailor my approach and my messaging as well. So I know that, okay, whatever message I'm placing through this influencer, it's getting to consumers who are likely to buy the sneakers. And also, some of the influencers don't really have a defined niche. They don't know who they are catering to. They don't know what the makeup of their consumers are. So they just blindly take on any assignment and they just want to execute it. So if most of the brands do their homework, as well as the influencers also define their niche, it's going to make things easy.
But do you think that it will be fair to blame the influencer that much when the brands are making it difficult for them? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if a brand understands that, okay, this is what I want, and they know that this influencer is capable of giving me that, and they are comparing that person to another person who is giving a certain type of service that the other one cannot give, why would you want to blame the influencer for that?
I mean, you can also turn down.
But that's you losing, right?
Yeah,
Nelisa, that's you losing, right?
That's
and at the end of the day, whatever it is you're doing is the money you're looking for, right?
But that's the ethical bit of it.
Does it really matter?
Yes, it matters, because as an influencer, you're supposed to be transparent and accountable to your followers. So if you know this thing that you are putting in front of them is going to take them in a certain direction that wouldn't be good, you would want to adhere to that. I can give you an example. There was once something called the Tide Pod Challenge, where most of the influencers were ingesting a certain detergent that looked like candy. And a lot of people also bit down on it, and about 10 people died, and a lot of people got hurt, and some of this happened as far back as 2012, and some people are still facing the repercussions of that. In a sense, if you are an influencer looking at there being a challenge that you can hop on to increase your following, and you also hopped on that to try and, get your following up and all that, and your followers also followed according to what you were doing. Yeah. You can see what's the kind of damage that you've caused. So I think it's also up to the influencers to. I mean, this is a moral issue. This is a moral issue. You know right from wrong. So if you know that what you are putting in front of your people is wrong, I mean, come on. There's something that you can do about it.
I'd like to defend influencers. Just a smidgen. Just a smidgen. Okay. Just a smidgen. Like, I get where you're coming from, but then people need to also understand that influencing isn't a stable job.
Absolutely.
It's not a stable income. Like, sometimes you don't know when your next paycheck is coming in. So I understand why sometimes influencers will just jump onto the first job that they get. Sometimes rent is due, you got bills to pay, and the right brand is saying the right price. So unfortunately, I think because of the instability of that, they're not, there's a word that I'm looking for. They're not ethical about it, just because of the instability of the income. I think that's why we have such a disconnect sometimes.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because I mean, at the end of the day, if you think that in the next 2 weeks you're probably supposed to be getting maybe 10,000, and you know that about 2 brands will come your way, and you're likely going to get that. It means that in the next 2 weeks, if you're able to make that money in that first week, it means that the other week you're not guaranteed. Whether or not you're going to make another money. So you probably want to just push the ethics aside and say, okay, well, I'm not too sure about what my next paycheck is coming. So let me just go ahead, and I think it's something that we can look at. Or you still want to defend that? Well, at the end of the day, it's still what you chose to do. Well, it's still what you decided that you were going to do.
Yes, so. With every job, there are side let me say there are downsides to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So knowing how unstable influencing is, you would know that getting into the.
Do people even take a look at that at all? I mean, the current crop of influencers that we're getting, do they even think about the fact that, okay, there are downsides? It looks as if that it's an open business for everybody, so let me just get into it. I mean, regardless of whatever comes out.
It's now fast-paced.
But it's harder than it looks. It's not easy. It is not easy. I think people look and think that influencers just wake up and take their phone and post. It is not that easy. There's a lot of work that comes behind the scene. So what ends up happening is they get into this industry, they don't know anything of what they're doing. Now rent is due, and they need to do whatever they need to do to make sure that they have the money in their bank account, and then it's the cycle all over again because nobody knows exactly what they're doing. As he said earlier, that a lot of influencers have never taken a class or anything. I think the only luck that I have on my side is I studied digital marketing. Okay. I went into strategic communication. So I kind of know the basis of where I'm going, even though it's not as fast-paced as my fellow housemates be. But I've got a layout
that you want to follow through.
So so I think
So let me be a bit personal, and I'll come back to you, Arthur. Let me be a bit personal on this very issue. Now, have you had to reject any offer from any brand ever since you came out? And maybe it was because of your values or your principles. And what exactly did they want you to do? Maybe put on lingerie or something that you felt it wasn't something you wanted to do?
I haven't had anything to do with ethics. I've had an issue with selling myself short.
Okay.
So I had to look at my following and my total engagement and tell myself that no, I can make more money than what you're giving me.
Okay.
I'll be helping you out. There's no this should be a partnership. What am I getting out of this?
So yours is the money aspect and not the kind of products they were given
No,
you.
I haven't had that problem as of yet. I think what I'm good with, my management team is very good with, is centering around my goals. So everything, they will only push ideas that center on maybe there has been an ethical thing, but I just don't know it. Because they will always only push brands to me and be like, hi, Nelisa, I know you said you want to do this and this and this. We've got a brand that will put you in that line. Do you want to do it? And then I'll be yes or no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so you were developing a point on that as well.
She raised the point I want to address. So one phenomenon we've come to see now is most of the influencers try to gauge their worth on their following, which is a very wrong metric.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a very wrong
but
metric.
But that's the ultimate.
No, it's a very wrong metric, and I'll give you an example.
Okay.
For instance, let's say I post something on Twitter. You know, Twitter has a view count.
Yeah.
So I post something on Twitter, and I have 100,000 people viewing that tweet. And in that tweet, there's a video. And in that video, I also have a view count there. So I see that only 10,000 people got to watch the video. 100,000 people have seen the tweet, but 10,000 people watched the video. That is your conversion rate. It means that when you put something out, it's only 10,000 people who actually act on it. So that's a 10% conversion rate. Now, out of that conversion rate, that 10% now becomes 100%. And then you would have to find the people who would go the extra mile. So maybe in that video, I'm saying log on to a website. How many people from that 10,000
move to the
website?
Yeah.
That is the actual conversion rate, and that is the actual thing you base your worth on.
Yeah.
But most influencers try to say, oh, I have 1 million followers, so a follower is 1 CD. But meanwhile,
they charge you per follower.
They charge you per follower. But meanwhile, maybe probably 20% of that following haven't had access to internet in a week. And they haven't been online. They haven't seen it. And probably the post you are trying to make is transient. It's very time sensitive. So they need to look at it within a certain time frame. Probably you are doing a sales promotion, which is running for 3 days. And in a week, they are not able to log on onto the internet. They've missed that window. You haven't had your actions met. So that is like one of the very, very serious challenges that most brands are facing now with how...
So there's a lot of blame there.
I want to say something. He's actually right, because your followers obviously don't equate to the amount of selling power that you have. But I think one thing that brands often forget is not everybody with a large following is an influencer.
Okay.
I think that's where everything gets misconstrued. An influencer is somebody who has the power to promote a product and sell it. Just because you have a following doesn't mean people want to go buy the products that you use. So I think that's where the misconstruction...
So in this case, the image behind the following is also important.
Yeah. So
because people would want to go the extra mile because of the personality and not the following.
Yeah. Earlier on, I mentioned the key traits of an influencer: being credible, having expertise, and being able to engage your followers. I want to get a bit technical when it comes to marketing and putting out a message or an ad. There are certain things called the source, the channel, and then the
receiving end.
The receiving end.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the source, which is in this case your vehicle, the influencer you are trying to use to send your message, we have certain key traits called CAP, which is credibility, attractiveness, and power. So the credibility is what is going to make the consumer believe what it is you are selling. The attractiveness is what's going to make them, oh, okay, I think I have an affinity to this product. Let me think about it. And then the power is what is going to move them to take the action. So what is the action? Log on to a website, call this number.
Make a purchase.
Make a purchase. The power
which is the ultimate eventually.
Which is the ultimate. So if you are a brand and you are looking at engaging an influencer, you'd have to look at these three things and see if you can't have two and not have one. You can't have one and not have two. You are supposed to have
But is that the
all
case
three.
in present time?
Yeah, it's the case in
Is that
present
the
time.
case
It's the
with the
case.
many that we've seen?
Yeah.
Well, Nelisa is laughing.
Because
I want to believe that most of the influencers that we've seen, the so-called influencers that we've seen, have all the three you're talking about. Which I doubt, by the way.
There are some who have. There are some who have that. And there are some who have maybe one or two, and they try to make up for the rest. And I can give you an example.
Yeah.
Recently, we had the issue where people rose concerns about Haja Bintu marketing a certain erotica
brand. She came back to apologize and all that.
You see, the problem with that is probably...
Oh, Haja Bintu, by the way, is one of our influencers here in this country. She has a very big...
Okay. I'm
just so she doesn't seem lost.
So probably Haja Bintu's followers know her for a certain type of content she creates, and they don't really know her for the brand that she's trying to promote or the brand that she's trying to support. And it goes back to the issue of ethics. In ethical advertising, there's something called false endorsements. And that's when you endorse something that you haven't even used before. And the likelihood for Haja Bintu to use such a product is very low. And people were able to see through that hogwash. They were able to see through that, okay, this doesn't look like something she'll use, so it's raising a bit of concern here. So let's talk down on it. And that was what sparked there, because we don't know Haja Bintu for that. What we know is she puts the camera up and then she shows us something, and then if maybe she's marketing something around swimwear or something around clothes that can make your body pop.
Yeah, because that's what she's promoting.
That's what people know you for. And so I think it's just the influencers and the brands finding that middle ground to meet each other halfway and define the niche. So I know that, okay, this is the person I can imagine there's a TikToker or there's an influencer who talks about sex or the reproductive health, selling a product like that. That would be believable because we know that this is what you use your platform for, and it's not going to raise any concerns. So I just think we need to find that middle ground. And then everything will be okay.
All right, if you just join us here on the show, this is Prime Insight here on Prime Morning. And today on the show, we're looking at influencers, whether they become an agent of social change or social disaster. I've got two very important personalities here with me in the studio. Ato Kilson is a PR consultant, a copywriter, and the founder for Fourth Avenue. And also in the studio with me is the one and only Nelisa from the Big Brother Titans. And she's here with us all the way from South Africa, spending some quality time with us over here. She's very, very big, very big. Oh, big, literally. And she's also joining us here on the show. We'd like to say a big shout out to all of you on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Your fan base are just on Twitter right now. Everybody's just going crazy. They love you. They love you. Yesterday, they didn't make me sleep. You know, they kept, when is the live streaming going to be and all of that. But I mean, I'm excited that you were able to make it for us this morning for us to have this conversation. And so you can also join us. Send us your messages. WhatsApp line is very active, so you can send your messages to us. And you can also stream on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook. It's Joy Prime TV on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. I've got a couple of your messages coming through. I'll take time to read them. But let's get to this point. So at this point, and I'll begin with you, Nelisa.
Okay.
Do you think that yourself and your colleagues are now being seen in the eyes of society as people who are rather becoming a problem to them, or they're becoming a social change? And I want you to put yourself in that shoe with your other colleagues.
I think with everything in life, there's good and bad. I don't think it's either or. I think there will always be a group of people who put influencing down, and there will always be a group of people who want to be the change they see in the world. Not to quote Gandhi, but like, I think that it's always going to be both. as you've seen, you said where it started with Queen Charlotte in the 1800s. I'm sure there was bad to the influencing as well. So I think as time changes, who knows, in a few years' time, AI will be the new influencer, and there will be good and bad to that as well. So yeah, I think there's good and bad. It's not either or.
Do you think that we're blaming them too much of becoming quote unquote nuisance to society? Because in recent times, most of the conversation has been around influencers and how fake they are becoming and how problematic they're becoming to society. I mean, over the past 3 days or 4 days or so, if you read comments on social media and the conversations that have, gone on, you'll be tempted to believe that whatever it is people have been raising concerns about seems to be the truth.
It's just coincidental. You get me? It's just coincidental. The fake it till you make it issue is sometimes very necessary. In certain circles or in certain rooms, you have to fake certain things to get in there. So for me, I think socially and culturally, it's kind of important, but to an extent, everything has a limit. But with respect to influencers addressing social issues, that is a very slippery slope because social issues require a very high level of skill and knowledge for you to do. So imagine maybe there is an election coming and you are putting pressure on a social media influencer to take a stand or, I mean, if they aren't very conversant with such a topic, it's going to be very difficult for them to share their thoughts on it. And so for me, I think sometimes the consumers or the fans also put undue pressure on the influencers for them to address these social issues. Because for me, I would advise as an influencer, if you are not conversant on a certain topic, you just don't need to address it. You just need to
Does it mean also that maybe people are not understanding their job or who they are? And so some of the conversations they want to engage them in are not, in the first place, conversations they have to even involve them in.
Yeah.
So where's the problem coming from? Us, the ones that are pushing all these conversations on them, or they also accepting the fact that, well, I don't know, but I still want to just, because I'm going to make money out of it.
I want to quote a very famous philosopher in the person of Omar Sterling. He once said,
Our own Omar Sterling.
Our own Omar Sterling.
He's a rapper in Ghana.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, well, after the interview,
I'm sure
Yeah,
she might
like,
probably
I'm
know him.
down notes,
You know
like-
R2Bs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Omar is the rapper in there.
one half of
He's a famous rapper.
He's a very famous philosopher as well.
Yeah.
He once said that what is famous is rarely wise. Yes. So if you're a follower, you have that at the back of your mind that what is famous is rarely wise. I mean, I come online and talk about shoes, or I come online and I just turn and shake my butt. That is what I am good at. Don't put pressure on me for me to talk about a social issue like climate change or like politics or something.
But you seem to be pushing yourself in the public's eye, so people are made to understand that you've read wide. And so there are issues that even if you can't be technical about it, you'll be able to at least share your views and make sense.
That's the issue. That's where the problem is.
So
Because fundamentally, people in media or people, and this is like is widely documented, people in media and people in the public eye are not professionals. People need to understand that. They are not highly skilled people. Someone can just come online, do something, and get famous, which wouldn't really obstruct anything. And there wouldn't be the need for them to maybe up their skill level or up their knowledge level. This is what they do. This is where they are, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. So people just need to understand that most people in media are not really professionals or are not really skilled. And so they would have to cut them some slack when it comes to putting pressure on them for them to address these things.
Nelisa, what do you make of that? Are we putting too much pressure on you people, thinking that, as long as you say you are in the public's eye, you're representing a certain brand or image, you have to know everything. And so don't come and be telling us things that we feel like, we thought you were better.
At the end of the day, social media, you can always log off. If you don't know what you're talking about, log off. You can actually log off. Like, I think
you're on the path of trying to make money on that same platform.
I know, but like, I'm very big on social injustices. I talk about a lot. And I think my management sat me down and they're like, Nelisa, you need to pick and choose what you want to talk about, so that when you do talk about these things, we are up to date on what's going on in the world. So you don't seem, because say for instance, I might talk about, we have something called load shedding in South Africa.
Yeah.
I at our power station every other day, I'd be like, I don't like them. And then somebody will remind me, they're like, guys are lucky that you have a schedule. There are places in Africa that the lights just go off for 2 days. I'm like, what do you mean 2 days? They're like, yeah, you are crying for 2 hours. There are people who are crying for 2 days. Yeah. So then they're like, you need to understand that when you put something out, you're not just talking to South Africa anymore. Unfortunately, you were on a platform that was shown over 46 countries. You've got people from these countries watching you, and they're sitting thinking, you're crying over 2 hours.
Yeah.
So like, I think you need to be able to know where you're going to stand with certain things, not just jump into everybody's talking about this, I'm going to jump in. Yeah. Because you might not know what you're saying. You might not know what the current thing is, and you might be isolating some people with what you're saying because you're limited on what you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Now, let me try and read some of the messages. This one says, hello, good morning. Greetings to all of you. Good morning. Greetings to you as well. Another one over here says, welcome to Ghana, Nelisa Msila. Love from Kumasi. So that's another place that you should visit if you can. Kumasi is a lovely place. You eat a lot of fufu. And by the time you leave here, you'll become ×3 of your body. So you should be thinking about that too. Another one over here says, good morning, Prime Morning, watching you live from Georgie, Volta region. We love you so much, Nelisa. You look good. Welcome to Ghana. All right, so that's another love over there. Another one over here says, good morning, Joy Prime TV. And Nelisa, thank you for gracing our TV this morning. Joy Prime, please retain Nelisa. Oh, she's got business in South Africa. Okay, we'll see about that. It goes on and says, my family and I hardly watch TV, but we're watching today because of Nelisa. Big love.
Thank you.
I'm touched. Thank you. Thank you. No, I think it makes sense for us to retain you. This one over here is coming from Kalishonikov, and it says, watching online, thank you, Nelisa on screen, and Nelisa the Conqueror. And this one is on social media, Twitter. This one says that, can we please have the IG live along? You guys got it all. I mean, you could go and check them out. And okay, this one is also asking us for us to stream it live. So we're streaming it live on Facebook, by the way, so you can check it. But we're going to put the interview on our social media pages when we are done, so you can access those that we've not been able to, follow here. We're just about wrapping up. Okay. Let me find out. So, what are you doing now in Ghana? When do you go back? What are some of the plans that you've put out there? Or you're about to for your fans to know all of that.
So I'm actually not going home after this. I'm going straight to Nigeria.
Oh, from here?
Yeah, I'm going to Nigeria from here. I'm going to go see my partner in crime,
I know,
Mr.
right?
Yemi Craigs. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to explore a bit of Nigeria. And then I go home and start shooting my podcast.
Okay.
So that is coming up. I'm very excited about that too. And then everything else, I move in silence like a G in lasagna. So everything else people will see as it comes. But yeah, those are my immediate plans for now. I loved Ghana. I actually leave Ghana tomorrow. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay for much long, but I'm definitely coming back.
What is that one thing that has changed ever since you became a star and you wish you could still be doing that one thing?
Sleep.
You don't sleep?
There's no sleep. Like, there's always something that I need to do. And sometimes I'm just like, you can't switch off your phone because you don't know what's going on. Like, something could be very important. For instance, my manager could be calling me with something that he needs to finalize at this moment. And Nelisa took a 5-minute nap. That time I wake up and he's like, Nelisa, I needed your approval so I could go ahead with something. Now I have to reschedule. I'm like, oh, okay. Can I go to sleep now? No, stay on, be available. So, yeah, I really miss sleep. Yeah.
Any regrets from the house? Something you did, you look back, you felt you could have done better?
I mean, what's life without regrets? I think there are a couple of regrets, but everything that happened to me in that house, I think happened for the better. Like, I'm a better person now. And I don't think I would be where I am right now, sitting here in Ghana, if everything hadn't transpired the way it did. So, yeah.
Yeah, has anything about your love life changed? Oh, come on now.
Nelisa is...
You're getting too many proposals. You're sorting them out. Management is on task.
Nelisa is all about the money.
Oh.
If it's not money, why are you calling me?
We have a lot of men who have money in the country, so we don't mind.
No, but I want to make my own. I'm an independent woman. Thank you.
Yeah, I know,
much.
but they can support you.
They can support me after I've got my millions, and then we can compare who has more. Yeah. Anyway,
Ato, before we go, and I want to be very straightforward with you. So, what do you make of Haja Faril's situation right now, from your point of view? You've done this. You've seen brands rise, fall, and all that. At this stage, what do you make of it?
I think now it has progressed to a legal issue, so you can't really say much about it. But the only concern I have is how her team has been able to handle the issue PR-wise. I think with issues like this, it's not guilty until proven guilty. So, and when I was reading the court documents, I think she pleaded not guilty. Yeah. So I was expecting her team to, put out a news release to kind of address the situation.
They did release one.
That was earlier.
That was earlier.
In the early stages.
Yes. And yesterday, there's another one yesterday that I've seen, which is still maintaining the fact that she's not been moved to anywhere, and I think that's where you're coming from, because they could have, for me and from my point of view, they could have done better with that press release, because a lot of tabloids have reported this issue. It's gone far. And so when you come back and you still defend it, the way they're defending it.
It's even on the U.S. State Department's website.
Exactly. So this is what, for the purposes of this conversation, so this is what they released. Attention has been drawn to publications making rounds on social media, news portals of the conviction and 10-year jail sentence of Mona Faiz Montrage and the current detention of her daughter, a minor, by the U.S. authorities. We would like to state categorically that the said reports are false. Now the facts, Mona is currently in the UK. She's neither been put on trial or convicted in the UK or US. Mona has not been extradited to the US or anywhere in the world. Mona's daughter is neither in the hands of the US authorities nor restricted in any way. So, I mean, this is what is circulating right now.
There are a number of things wrong with the news release, even from...
That's where my problem was.
Even from looking at it, because with respect to the signage, it's supposed to be addressed to someone in particular. There's supposed to be a point of contact. And they just signing it by management is very vague. And it also leaves a lot of questions. Yeah. So I think PR-wise, they manage it better. Yeah, PR-wise, they are not handling the issue well at all. Okay.
What message would you give to social media influencers out there?
Up your knowledge, up your skill. I think in the space we are in now and where the world is progressing, knowledge is very, very, very important. With how AI is even moving, trying to take people out of their business because they haven't really been able to, empower themselves or enrich themselves with knowledge. So I think as an influencer, it shouldn't just stop at you just creating content. You need to up your skill level, up your knowledge, up your expertise, and and define your niche. You know, find a place where you would feel comfortable in creating content and also attracting, you know, brands, and also being able to build your personal brand itself. And I think that would ensure some longevity.
Awesome. Nelisa, if I don't let you say thanks to your fans, they will kill me. So maybe you can go ahead.
They will kill me too.
So let's do it for them.
To all the Lee stands watching, thank you very much for all the support. I love and appreciate you guys to the moon and back. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have you. Yeah. And I must say, it's been very insightful with you both. I've really had a good time. Learned a lot from you both as well. And I'd like to say I'm grateful for making time for us this morning here on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great stuff. Now, social media influencer sounds like a fake job, right? Well, it turns out to be the one hottest jobs you can find right now, thanks to the rise of social media pages and platforms. Now, these days, you can actually make yourself famous on social media by building a following around your passion, whatever it may be, and then convert that into a living by charging companies to place ads in the mix with their social media posts as well. Now, the next time your mom tells you that you spend too much time on your phone, you can tell her that you're just building a career. That's our conversation for this morning here on the show on Prime Insight. But let's get this conversation on the other side where we have messages from our viewers out there, and then we say goodbye. This one says, Nelisa is a superstar. Indeed, I agree with you 1,000%. She knows what she's about, and that's all this is all about. Hi, Joy Prime. Tell Nelisa that her brother Yemi Craig is proud of her. She's going to Nigeria to meet him, actually. Thoko Rangaswamy says, so proud of you, Smalley. Well, she may probably not leave here Smalley. She's got too much eating right now. You went and conquered, indeed. And Adameri says, watching from Nigeria, this is amazing. I've learned a lot. We've all learned a lot from these two amazing personalities who joined me over here this morning. Okay, so I have another one. I'm enjoying the show at CFC Estate, Domain Main Security Entrance. Solomon Mensah sent in that one as well. So those were your messages on the show this morning. I would like to say a big thank you to you for getting interactive with us here on the show. To Arthur Kilson, a PR consultant, copywriter, and founder of 4th Avenue, I'm grateful. And of course, to our very own big brother, S-Hawks mate, the Titans, Nelisa Imsila. What's the meaning of Imsila? It has a meaning?
Imsila. Yes, so it means tail in Xhosa.
Dosa. But that's what it is, man. Coming up, man. Women, and all of that. But beautiful and insightful conversation this morning. Thanks so much once again. Guys,